Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm Steven Rogers.
I'm Andrew Chavone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a great episode that is about to happen. I'm a psychic now. We haven't recorded anything, but good vibes.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 2,000 likes.
Well, I mean, if I like it, it's 1. So we got a minimum there.
How are you, buddy?
Good. Haven't seen you in a while. I just want to get things right going. I don't know how much time we got, but anxiety hot off the press today.
Oh!
Anxiety through the roof.
You seem calm.
I guess so, yeah. I guess...
You're just in pointing it inward?
Right. That's what I usually do. I just point inward until it collapses on itself like a black hole and sucks in everything around me.
It's like those things where you see all the chaos happening and then it pans to the outside of the thing and it's just like...
Yeah, so like, you know, I'm sure when the nuclear bomb went off in Hiroshima,
yeah,
you know, it was like a big deal. But if you pan out to Pluto,
yeah,
they're like,
Earth looked great.
Earth looked great. Yeah, it's all about perspective, you know, in life. So yesterday, this meme account aggregator, this account on Instagram that only posts screenshots of tweets.
Okay.
It has 2.7 million followers. His name is The Funny Introvert. He took a tweet I had just posted.
I wonder who he's going to steal from.
Well, I got to tell you, it's not. I don't know if it's stealing. It's more of a what would you call it? A showcase, maybe?
Yeah, I would say a showcase.
Because there's some accounts that will cut off your face and handle.
And just the tweet.
And just the tweet, won't tag you. This guy gets the tweet and the handle, tags me in the comments. And
okay.
So, and every time he posts me, I get like, you know, a couple hundred followers.
That's great.
So a lot of respect to this man. He's anonymous. He might be a listener. I don't know.
That's weird that the account's called Introvert and he doesn't want to show himself.
Yeah, there's an account called The Funny Extrovert, and all he does is post pictures of him drinking and out partying. And the funny extrovert. And he's not funny at all.
Yeah. That's how extroverted he is. He thinks he's funny.
So I had this tweet where I saw on the news that there is that they're doing skateboarding in the Olympics for the first time in this year, and I was like, well, why now? The fad is over for me,
right?
And so I tweeted, you know, funny that they're maybe I'll just pull it up. I don't want to butcher my own tweet. This is what the tweet said. Drum roll. Okay, said, okay, not sure why the Olympics added skateboarding 20 years after it was a fad, but looking forward to the 2037 fidget spinner qualifiers.
I love it.
Because that was a fad 8 years ago. I did the math.
I see you doing like all the research like you're about to rob a bank. All right, here's the years that was in that they were popular. You look like the night hacker where it's all black but you're lit from the laptop.
Yeah. I'm wearing like thick rimmed glasses that are square.
You got a hood up. They always have the hood up.
Yeah, what are they protecting themselves from? Other computers that are around them? I mean, you're looking at the computer.
Yeah, the computer, and the computer's lighting up your face.
I know, yeah, and it has a camera in it. There's no one looking in the window at somebody on their computer. So I was like, oh, that's cool that it reposted that. The guy took the tweet, reposted on his account, got 70,000 likes.
Wow.
On his thing. And I was like, I woke up this morning because he posted it last night, and, you know, I go to bed and I don't think anything of it. Wake up this morning, a DM that said, screw you, man. Skateboarding is cool, and you're lame-o.
Was it Tony Hawk?
I wish. So then I checked the comments of this 70,000 like post, and all the top comments, I'll read them.
Oh no, you're getting attacked by the skateboarders union.
Yes, but I just want to make my case here. So the top comment says, you must be a scooter guy.
I mean, he got you good.
Yeah. Spoken like a true rollerblader. Number 2.
I mean, all right. I'm not mad at these so far.
Oh yeah, here's where they start getting
okay.
Here's where they start getting hurtful. Says middle-aged man making lukewarm jokes on Twitter.
Okay, now I'm at your defense.
And then the top comment replied to that says, implies the presence of heat though. Thinking emoji. And then the comment after that says, skateboarding is bigger now than it's ever been, just like this guy's prostate. Ouch. I do pee more often.
I will say I'm not sure I'm finding the comments funny as much as I love your delivery. You delivered prostate beautifully.
If there was a job for people reading tweets and mean comments, I'm in.
Yeah.
I would love to submit a reel. So then
real mean.
Oh, this is a good one. Somebody wrote, "Lol, a fad. Plenty of skateboarders getting paid more than Andrew the shitty comic ever will.
Oh boy.
Must suck being a below average white guy that cries about everything."
All right.
Cries. I'm not even crying. I don't care. I'm just saying.
Hey,
it's too late to. I mean, they should have did it 20 years ago. That's all I'm saying. And then somebody said, "Weird joke," quotes. "I don't like skateboarding, but it's hardly a fad. Hashtag nice try." And then somebody wrote, "It's a 2B industry." I guess that's 2 billion.
or not to be.
That employs thousands of people. But cool tweet, bro. Okay. So what I'm saying...
All right, make your address to the skateboarders people.
Yeah, skateboarders people. Obviously, you people did not live through the real fad of the early 2000s. Were you around then, Steven? Or were you...
I'm aware of the skateboarding fad. I was not part of it, but because I didn't think I was cool enough to do it. Honestly, I thought it was cool. I just knew I couldn't pull it off.
That's how you know it was a fad if I get involved. All right? I was not cool, but I was
I
like...
saw your fidget spinners.
The cure for anxiety, everybody. So... yeah, so it was... this is how everyone got involved in the early 2000s. Tony Hawk Pro Skater was a video game. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was even better video game. Everyone had it. I was obsessed. I was like doing all the secret levels, kick flipping and stuff. Where and it was basically, okay, so say you play a video game where you're a hitman or something. Can you go to the mall and get a gun and have people pay you to kill people? No. But you can go to the mall and get a skateboard.
Yes.
And just take it in your sidewalk and skate around.
I have a scar on my elbow from the one time I was on a skateboard.
That's awesome.
I have a scar from trying to join a fad.
So take that. I have a scar on my eye from when the Spidget Finner went too fast. And it hit the side of my eye.
It's so interesting that you tried to make you made this skateboarding joke. Some people got a kick out of it. The other people flipped.
They got a kickflip out of it.
You tried to beat me there, but I was five steps ahead of you.
You were 4 wheels ahead of me.
I had to ramp up to it.
I had to press X twice to ollie. So the what was I saying? Okay, so the Hitman thing was a bad example. I just realized that, but it was the first thing that came to my head. All right, so how about
I don't know
this?
if you've seen the news.
I feel horrible, everybody. I'll probably cut this out, but all right. So let's do a different example so I don't get in trouble. But okay, say you're playing a video game about dinosaurs.
Sure.
You know where you ride them?
Yeah.
You can't go to the mall and get a dinosaur.
Wait a minute.
What?
We're getting a news update. You can now go to the mall.
He was just in. A guy went on a rampage.
With the dinosaur from Rampage.
And his name's Turok.
I love Turok.
And roll.
We're on a Turok and roll.
To rock or not to rock?
To be.
to rock in high school.
Well, if you haven't convinced these commenters that you're a nerd before, we have now. So I will say I loved the scooter one,
Yeah,
and the rollerblade one.
they're all good.
Those were good jokes.
They're fun.
The rest, I don't know, they're lukewarm. The rest of them, they're not great. They're not great insults. They're good. They're trying to find a way to yell at you, even though they're not looking at the joke as a joke.
Well, I understand. So, say you have a hobby or whatever, and some guy comes along and says it's a fad that was over 20 years ago. You're going to be offended, and I understand that. And saying that it was 20 years ago implies that I'm 20 years older than them, which I probably am.
Right.
So I understand the old jokes, but I'm just saying, if these people lived through the peak of it, they would not. They would get my joke, and by that I mean, so got the video games.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I got the skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
Got all the clothes.
Right.
I got a backpack where you could strap your skateboard to it.
Okay.
I got a little skateboard called a tech deck, where if you wanted to skateboard and couldn't, you could do it with your fingers.
It was a fidget spinner.
It was a fidget spinner. Before they were fidget spinners. This guy is the inventor of this fidget spinner was like, oh yeah, I could.
What if I just had a hole in it and went like this?
It was doing tricks without even doing tricks. The 360.
That one I never understood.
The fidget spinner or the little skateboards?
The little skateboards. That one I had a hard time with. I never thought anyone that was doing it was weird or anything, but I was just like, I don't get buying this.
I didn't get buying it either. I think I bought two. I opened one and I saved one for collector.
For when they blow up in 20 years. In the
when they're in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is, I can describe the peak of skateboarding. So I got all the clothes, I got the backpack, little skateboard, which you would think would be the peak. No, the peak was
the little backpack that skateboard went on.
Exactly. You could get a doll that had a backpack and you put the thing on it.
And in that little backpack, even smaller skateboard.
Right. They should have made figures to ride on these little ones.
Yes, I think so too.
But they just you just had to do it with your hands.
Yeah, this was the figure.
Yeah, your hand was your hand was Tony Hawk.
Yeah,
Tony Hand. So and this account posted it, so I have no addressing the people, because if I write a comment on this, there's already like 1,000 comments or whatever. And I don't want to go through each individual one because they'll call me lame or whatever. But so this is the address for everybody. So
my fellow skateboarders,
my fellow skateboarders. I am one of you. I was one of you. There is like in Catholic school, they would have like these really dark like lessons, but they were supposed to inspire you, but they were all very morbid.
Right.
You know, Jesus is pretty morbid.
Yes.
And I remember I was like in 2nd grade, and there was a teacher that was like teaching us about, I don't know what the lesson was, but it was a guy who went out to this leper island to do church.
Yeah, horrible resort.
I mean, I think COVID kind of ruined it. But
everything there is falling apart.
Oh, that got me good. That got me good. Oh my God. I mean, that one stumped me.
Get a hand on.
Give this guy a hand for that joke, everybody.
I think that joke gave us a leg up on the competition. My apologies if you're a leper and listening.
Yeah, no offense to the leper community. I hope. I mean, who knows what will the future will bring. But at the time of this podcast, I don't think there's any leprosy out in the
I don't
world.
believe so.
So, so in Catholic school,
Leper Island.
Leper Island. I was literally like maybe 9,
Mm-hmm.
and the teacher was like, "Yes, this guy went out. He's a saint." I think we were learning about the saints. He went out. All the saints, by the way, horrible.
Went marching in.
Oh, they're marching in with their heads off, on fire, skin removed. There was one saint I learned about in 1st grade where the guy literally was put between 2 bricks, or 2 big bricks, and he was smothered.
Oh my goodness.
They're teaching about, and they get mad about I don't know, violent movies or whatever.
Right.
Catholic school was the most violent thing in the world. But they had this guy who went out to the leper island to do church, and every day he would be like, I forgot what he would say, hello, lepers. He would dress them like that. And then one day he said, my fellow lepers. And then everyone was like crying because he got leprosy.
Wow.
He dressed the lepers by my fellow lepers. And then that was the end of the lesson. I was like, huh? I guess it just taught you something about pronouns. If you're one of them, say my. And if you aren't, you say you. So my fellow skateboarders.
I have leprosy.
I got it at the skate park.
Yeah, my little skateboard figure, my fingers go off.
My finger, yeah. I can no longer do the tech deck because I don't have a hand. Okay, so the mall by my house, the outlet mall. This is the peak.
Featured in Wonder Woman.
No, there was another one. That was the regular mall. Then there was the outlet mall, which you had to drive a little further to get to.
Right.
They built a indoor skate park at the mall.
Wow.
And it was humongous. And it had this what is it called? Half pipe.
Yeah.
That literally was like 30 feet tall.
Wow.
It was like super big. It was just like the video game.
Man. Half pike or half pipe?
Pipe. Even though sometimes I thought it was pike myself.
I thought it was pike.
Yeah. And then that song by Weezer. I got my hash pipe. I thought it was hash pike for a long time. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what a hash pipe is.
That's a smoked fish that gets you high.
I got my hash pike. Do 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 do. I need mouthwash. I need mouthwash. My breath will smell bad. So I would go to this place. Me and my friends would go, and we would pay, and they'd let us in the skate park. We had to buy pads because that was allowed, and I had no moves, and I would go up the ramp and down the ramp. Not even the big one. They had a mini one.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I'm so hardcore. I just literally go, whoop, ah, and get off. And I have no idea what I was doing. There was no lessons, or there were, but my mom and dad didn't get me any. But so that was getting to the peak. But the very peak was Tony Hawk and company and the people from the video game were doing a skate park tour across the country to all these things that popped up because of the fad.
Wow.
There was more than one skate park being built in malls. So they would come, they had dates, and I don't remember how I heard, maybe on MTV or something, but I took me and my friends from high school that I reference all the time, and they were in that sketch I did.
Oh, yes.
The 3 of us went, maybe my brother went, and we literally would stand on the fence and just look at Tony Hawk and
watch them skate.
And I remember there was this guy with tattoos and short hair who wasn't in the video game who would slam his skateboard. He'd go, damn it, and then slam it down. I'm like, I don't remember this guy from the game, but what's his deal? Did he just sneak into the park?
Yeah.
Turns out that guy's name was Bam Margera. This is before Jackass or whatever.
Oh my God.
And I never seen a guy. He wasn't wearing a shirt, and he was like getting so mad. And then afterwards, it was Tony Hawk, and I can't remember the rest. But then there were two guys at the end. There was this long table of skateboarders, and you just go and like I handed them the tech deck that I didn't open. I had a poster from the event. I don't know how.
Wow.
Tony Hawk signed it. They all signed it. And then by the time I got to the two guys at the end, I was like, well, that's the guy that curses. I don't know the other guy. I don't want to talk to them. They scare me.
Right.
Turns out that was Bam Margera and Ryan Dunn from Jackass. Those two guys.
Oh, my God.
The most two famous people out of them, except for Tony Hawk. And the other people were in the video game or whatever. But pretty crazy.
Real crazy.
And then Jackass came out like a year later or something. Maybe that was the peak of skateboarding. I don't know.
And it's coming back.
Jackass coming back. Yeah, but without Bam.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy, yeah. So that was the peak. The Tony Hawk Tour. Everyone pooping on me right now. Is there a Tony Hawk Tour coming to your house? Is there right now? 20 years later. Is there a Tony Hawk Tour? Is there a skate park being built at your mall? Is there even malls? Indoors with a huge ramp or whatever.
I mean, they can't tell what's going on. They're at Pluto.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, literally like maybe it wasn't even like a year later after that tour came, the skate park got torn down.
Right.
Turned into a Costco. All the skateboarding stores at the mall.
They had ramps in bulk.
Yeah, if you ever want to buy a pack of 12 skateboards at once, that's a good place to go. And this is an example about how anxious my dad was. I went down a ramp, and I think I like skinned my knee or something, and he's like, no more skateboarding.
Wow.
It's going to mess up your football season. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Turns out you messed up your football
It turns out me being unathletic messed up my whole football season. Turns out me being 100 pounds really messed that up.
And myself.
Turns out my genome sequence really messed up my football season.
Your dad was watching all that. No, that's the skinned knee. Oh, man. So funny.
And he listens, and he'll probably call me, but I think I like injured it more than a skin knee. It was more...
Right.
I had to get like some kind of thing to wear around my knee, but it wasn't broken.
Right.
But it scared him. So...
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's what I walked into. This was all this morning.
This was all this morning. Yeah. These mean comments and the prostate and
the way you deliver it. Now that I realize you delivered prostate so well, because that's the one you're thinking about the most.
I guess. Yeah. And it makes me think like maybe I'm due for something. I don't know.
Well, you're in your 30s. You're not ready to get checked yet.
Maybe I am. I don't know. Well, I got to look that up. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
What the parameters are for that.
Oh, maybe it's time for a starfighter to check out the Death Star.
Maybe, yeah. So, anyways, that's what I'm dealing with. I wanted to thinking if I have anything else about that. About skateboarding. Did the video game. Oh, then the Tony Hawk 3 was literally like there was no more skateboarding games after that. There's no more skateboarding games. The indoor park closed down. All this the shopping malls closed, and I'm sure some other thing took its place. I don't remember what that thing was. Do you remember?
No.
Like
well, maybe those gymnastics things where they had the sponge pool.
Oh, yeah.
Where you could land in the sponges and the flips and all that.
You know what? And that was safer.
It was safer, and then they now have the trampoline rooms.
They just built one by my parents' house.
Yeah, I keep forgetting what they're called right now. Sky Zone.
The Sky Zones, yeah.
Sky Zone.
Yeah, where you jump around, and those are way safer
Way
than
safer.
And I can see why the fad started going away, because it was dangerous.
Very dangerous.
This thing was like humongous.
Yeah, thank God that dinosaur fad didn't kick off.
Right, yeah, a lot of those insurance premiums.
See, I mean,
for those dinosaur parks.
They tried one and they've made 3 documentaries on it, or 5.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park joke.
Yeah, they had. I remember that park. Yeah, there would be the owner. He would talk to this every time you went to the park. The owner, John Hammond, would interact with a digital DNA.
Yeah.
And if this park really took off, he would have to go there every day and talk to this.
I know.
Talk to this dino DNA thing.
It was and. I'm glad it didn't kick off because it would have messed with his other business, KFC. So it really...
Well, that was the whole point of the park, was if it took off, you would make these chicken wings out of the legs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if...
chickens are a form of dinosaur.
Right, so and if... I mean, you think chicken wings are good. Have a velociraptor wing. Or leg. Or thigh.
Oh, man.
You ever thought that bothered you, how when they went to the park, they had that intro where the Dino DNA talked and then like the owner appeared and then talked to the DNA?
Yeah. Did that bother me?
I guess maybe if the park really took off, they would have a guy dressed up as the owner.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been... Well, he was... Yeah, or they would have had a recording of both of them.
Yeah, maybe, right. That would make more sense. Maybe he just appeared to impress.
He was doing it because he was still opening the park.
Right, he was doing a lot of work himself.
Yeah. He was like, all right, I got investors coming. This guy that was an archaeologist.
Maybe
this guy that does a thing with drops of water.
The archaeologist son and daughter for some reason. Why do they come?
Oh, yeah. No, that was his grandson and granddaughter.
Oh, that was John Hammond's grandson and granddaughter.
Yes.
Right. But then, like, I guess the archaeologist became like a father figure to them.
Yes. Well, Grandpa's busy talking to Dino DNA.
Yeah. He's busy, like, he wants to be in it like a theater major or something. He's got a concern. That's why the park went to crap. He was worried about his lines.
Yeah, he's like, all right, now I got to go audition for Cheers after this. So let's make this quick, Dino DNA.
That guy was in a couple movies.
Yeah, Jurassic Park 1 and 2.
Unfortunately, the Dino DNA animation really didn't have any career after that.
Well, you could tell that he was acting.
You could see right through this guy.
He kept moving around. He kept falling apart. Maybe he was a leper. All right, I got to get into mine.
Okay.
I was just in Boston for 2 days.
Yeah. I'm familiar with their market.
Yes.
They have great chicken.
Yeah, KFC. And so I was in Boston doing the Hideout for 2 nights. First night, get there, and packed room. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And the front row, completely empty.
Okay. I've had that a couple times.
And I'm like, oh, okay. But they're like, it's reserved. And I'm like,
reserved.
Oh, okay. And they're like, it's a party. And I'm like, uh-huh. And they're like, bachelor party.
Bachelor?
Now, if you're not familiar, like if you're not deep in the comedy nerdism, a bachelorette party. Bachelorette is probably one of the worst things you can see in a comedy show. Because they got the penis whistles, they're probably drunk, and it's all about them, and they usually heckle.
Yeah, and it reminds me of this. When I was a busboy at the Funny Bone, there was this comic who I had never seen before and never seen since, but he had this joke where he's like making fun of the penis whistles. He's like, can you imagine being the foreman at that factory? All you make are penis whistles. Can you imagine being the account receivables at the penis whistle factory? And I've always thought about it. Yeah, who makes those? I hope they make other things at that factory.
Yeah, well, it's not plastic vagina whistles, so that'd be hard.
Well, I mean, I don't think so, but guys, when they go to their bachelor party, typically they go to a strip club, and girls, they usually do some other thing, where they go to the comedy show, or they go to like a play. I don't know what else they do, but we only see them at comedy shows.
Yeah. So the bachelor party shows up, and it's all big guys. Like, and I'm talking like the way you should have been built for football.
The way I should have been built. Yeah.
Yes.
If John Hammond could inject their DNA into a frog egg,
they look more like John Hamm than John Hammond. So it's all these big guys, muscular guys, and I'm like, there's no way that these guys don't heckle. There's
absolutely no way.
There's no way they don't heckle.
Because they're probably drunk.
They are drunk when they get there. And they lost the groom. It was like Hangover. They couldn't find the groom.
Why do they call it roofies when you end up on the
on the ground?
On the ground.
The only good one. They find the groom. The show doesn't start till the groom gets there. They start the show. Every comic is doing well. No heckles. But I'm like, the closer we get to me, I'm headlining, the more drunk they're going to be.
Right.
And I get up there, and they were talking. Occasionally they'd say something, but they weren't yelling.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. I get up there, and I'm doing a show. The show, they're great. They're wonderful. Then there's these 4 women that are kind of drunk. They were very nice, but they were taking selfies of each other. And so I made fun of them for taking selfies, obviously, during a show. And then I'm interacting with the bachelor party, and I start talking to the groom, and I'm like, hey, man, when's the wedding? And I'm picking on him, like, lightly and not making fun of him. And he goes, I have anxiety. I'm sorry. And I'm like, boy, do I have a comedian for you, jokingly meaning me.
Have you done your anxiety chunk yet?
I had done my anxiety chunk. I had plugged the podcast already. And I go, boy, do I have a comedian for you. And he goes, Gary Goldman? And I make fun of that he mentioned someone more famous than me. But he mentioned Gary Goldman. I'm like, oh, this is a comedy nerd.
Yeah, and plus Goldman, I mean, not really, because Goldman talks about depression.
Right, but he's still deep cut.
Still deep cut, yeah. He didn't say Amy Schumer.
Right, he didn't say Jerry Seinfeld or even
Brian Regan.
Exactly, that was my next word name. And he didn't say someone that's on Netflix all the time or whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's why they're being so good. This guy's been brought here because he's a comedy nerd.
Ah, this all makes sense now.
He came for a night out to watch comedy. And
most men are fans of women taking their clothes off. This guy is a fan of you talking about your problems.
I was thinking, yeah. I was removing boundaries, and
you were a different kind of vulnerable.
Yeah, I was removing the clothes of protection. I was revealing myself different than most bachelor parties are used to.
That's right.
So I was showing him my inner nipples. Okay. I thought that would get you to laugh.
That just was too weird. Some people do have inner nipples.
What?
The nipples are away.
Oh, inverted nipples. Not like nipples on the inside of their body.
No, that's even weirder, though.
Yeah.
That's like a He-Man villain. Inside nipple man.
Mr. Nipped.
He's just an action figure without his shirt, but there's no nipples.
Yeah, but you see the little bumps.
But they're somewhere else.
Yeah, they're going inward. It was like indents.
Yeah, but just not even where they should be. They're like up here and down.
They're on his shoulder blades. On his thigh. Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, when you can tell when he's cold because he's like, ah.
Yeah,
his insides are getting poked.
He has a heart attack when it's cold.
Oh man, that was fun for me. So
He-Man's coming back, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna watch it like today, I think.
Is it come out already?
I think it's out. I saw some like nerd guy post about it.
Oh, great. Greg?
No, some other guy.
Oh, I was gonna say everyone listening knows Greg.
That's true. Yeah, this guy's name is Ray Goots. He said.
Oh yeah.
He said episode 1 was good, episode 2 wasn't, but the other ones are good. I'm like, great, thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, I guess I've watched it.
Shout out to Ray. He's a friend.
He's great.
I don't know.
Great shows. So then we after the show, one of the I guess bachelors comes over to me and grabs a stress ball, and he goes, "Hey, we all have anxiety," and takes it, and he immediately, as he's talking to me, he's squeezing it, and then
So you have your stress balls all set up?
I had them all set up.
That's awesome.
The whole bachelor party was balled up, and
Did they pay for them?
yeah,
Oh, great.
yeah,
Awesome.
Well, I didn't take one from the groom, but
Okay.
yeah,
The Bachelor.
yeah, yeah, he's the bachelor. Yeah, I don't know.
He will be a groom, but right now he's a bachelor.
Right. So
I
what are
think.
the rest of them? Groomsmen?
They're the bachelor men.
We're a superhero team ever.
We are the bachelor men. Did we do this podcast when I did my brother's bachelor party?
No, but I think you've talked about. Well, I've heard your stand-up bit about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wanted to go hiking in Austria, and I was like, we can go to a strip club down the street from where you're getting married. The day before.
We can go see a stripper from Austria.
I'm like, I'm not planning, because the best man has to plan out all this stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Austria, beautiful. G'day, mate.
Put another shrimp on the barbie. Then he goes in the front and drives.
Yep. It's good to see your ADD's not acting up.
Yeah.
For those listening, he's playing with the curtain behind his head.
Why does the sun's coming through? All right.
I didn't know you had any kids. So
my son, get me back, my son.
So the second night, we have a show before the show.
Before the show.
Yes, at a different spot in Boston.
Oh, okay.
The booker, Caitlin McPhee, set it up. Who, by the way, not a fan that you trashed her place on the podcast.
She listened?
Yes.
What? Uh-oh.
You have to know that these are recorded and anyone can access them.
Well, Caitlin, I'm sorry, but it was a funny story, and there was no heat, and then Steven had to get a dusty blanket for me that I asked him to take off immediately after he put it on because it was all dusty.
I stayed in that same place.
You stayed in that?
I stayed
Did you sleep on the chair? Peter
I slept on the bed.
Oh, there's a bed?
There's a bed now. But I slept in the bed, and as she was letting me in, she was like, I better not hear you mention the place on the podcast.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, that was Andrew. So you're in trouble.
Everybody, if you want to listen back to that episode, that's one of the funniest stories.
You're doubling down.
I can't remember, but it was one of the funniest stories. I don't remember what it was called, but just listen back, everybody. It was a lot of fun to recreate that house.
Well, thank you, Caitlin, for letting me stay there. I love your home. Anyways,
thank you for letting us stay there. And I remember when we went out to breakfast that day, I was making fun of the house to her.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I was nice enough to let you stay there. And I'm like, yeah, good point.
And then you made fun of it.
Then I made fun of it on a recorded episode. But I did apologize when I made fun of it to her face.
Yes, but that you recorded after.
Well, it was funny. And plus, that's all we did was go to that house.
True. But I think it's a great...
And we recorded in the house. I
Yes.
remember we recorded in the house.
Yeah.
I was going to be hard not to talk about it. We're recording in the house.
We were in the very house we were recording. Anyways,
there should be a movie about that scene where I'm all cold and shivering on that dusty couch. And then you come and pull the blanket.
You're never going to work Hideout.
You pull the blanket over me. And I go, take it off. Take it off. It's dusty.
You reacted like it was a smallpox blanket.
I reacted like the most spoiled person in the world. It's like if I was in the desert and you gave me water, I'm like, take it away. It's tap. Get me Evian.
So we're staying there. Anyways, Caitlin booked us on this other show before the show at Hideout, and the show starts late, and they start at the same time as the Hideout show. So Peter had to run to Hideout right after his set, and I had to do the same. So normally you know, if you're headlining a show or featuring on a show, you get to watch the comics before you and get a read of the crowd.
Right.
So I'm arriving to the show I'm about to headline maybe 3 minutes before I'm about to go on, which is not enough time to gather your thoughts.
Okay.
But if the show had started on time, we wouldn't have had that problem.
Right.
The earlier show. So then I walk in the Hideout room. Right away, I see Kelly and Eamon.
What?
Kelly
They came?
Yes.
What? Did they give you a heads up?
No, she told me she did. I couldn't find the message, but they came. So I was surprised. I was like, and I literally see them. I stop in my tracks and I go, "Oh my God!" And I hug them and I say hello. I set up my camera. I'm all ready to go. Peter just gets off stage, and a guy in the front row stands up and gives him a standing O. And I'm like, "Oh, they're great." I get on. The guy's hammered.
Oh God.
Hammered. And the guy next to him is just as drunk, and they're with a woman who doesn't seem to be as drunk.
Okay.
And they're the sloppiest I've ever seen human beings, but they're having a great time.
And they're in the front in the Hideout?
They're in the front.
Oh my God.
First joke, they start talking to me, and I'm like, oh God. And they're like hunching over.
That's what you want in a comedy show. Slumped over.
I felt like I was in one. And
yeah, that story makes me crave Sloppy Joes.
So they start talking to me, and I didn't even get to finish the first joke.
What was Peter's face when he was getting off stage? Was it smiles or was it like aghast? Like it was a rough time?
I don't even know if I looked at him. I was still getting ready.
It's a good hint.
I didn't have time. I got my hint as soon as the guy was like, "Ah!" So I'm up there, and they keep interrupting and like talking amongst themselves and me. And I stop and I go, "Hey man, I'm glad you're having fun, but these people, you know, are also trying to hear the show." And I get applause, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, they've been a problem." And and some people are yelling, "Shut up!" to the guy, and I get thrown off from it because I go to start another one, and the guy's like yelling about another thing, and and I immediately start looking at Kelly and Eamon, giving them a look like, "Here we go."
You're gonna hear this on the episode.
No lie, I deal with this for about 5 minutes trying to get started and do jokes. I stop and I go, I don't normally bring this up this early, but I have a podcast about anxiety. You might all want to listen to next Monday's episode. And the audience goes nuts.
Wow.
Because that set, the guy, I lost all place because I could hear them in my ears louder than me, like thoughts. They were just so loud. So I started a joke.
Who are they? The son of Sam?
Yeah, there was a dog there.
You became a mailman?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Kelly and Eamon. I mean, they got to experience you suffering, but they don't. I think they live like a ways away from Boston, don't they? They drove all the way there to see some drunk guy be a jerk.
I know, and I'm immediately feeling for them. So what I did was I bailed on my original plan of like the order of jokes and just did every new joke that works that I could think of. Because my thinking was now Kelly and Eamon are my audience.
Okay, that's
I'm
cool.
just going to do jokes I know they haven't heard and do whatever I can. all I can hear in my like left ear is those two guys. And I'm just trying to look at everybody else and do the show for everybody else.
Shout out to Kelly and Eamon, by the way. If you guys check out their candles.
.bco.
They're one of the first listeners we had that would tweet at us, so that's the background. They were not just some guys. I don't know.
No, they're great. And
Yeah.
the .bco's got killer candles. They're really awesome. She's got her first craft show coming up. She's nervous about.
I saw the TikTok about it.
Yeah, she's gonna do great. But I'm like, and then everybody else is like on board and like trying to be good audience members because these guys clearly are too hammered and don't know how to. They just didn't know how to do a comedy show, I guess. I'm doing well. I close as strong as I can, and everybody seemed to have a good time. I have people coming up to me going, "Man, you handled them great," and I was like, I got a couple applause breaks on how I handled him. Then I'm talking to Kelly and Eamon, and this guy comes over to me. Nice guy. He said second time. He might have seen me before and came back is what he meant. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But
Maybe he just was so drunk he thought he saw Gary Goldman and it was you.
So he comes up to me, he shakes my hand, he goes, "Great set," leaves, comes back and goes, "That drunk guy is falling down in the bathroom, and he was talking about how he's going to come and see you and buy you a drink. So get ready. I just wanted to warn you." And I'm like, "You're the best man there is." And Kelly and Eamon are standing there going, "Oh, boy." He shows up. He's talking to Peter, and I go to Kelly and Eamon. I'm like, "Hey, how about we go downstairs?" And I go downstairs. The other drunk guy stops me, and he starts handshaking me and doing the bro hug, but he keeps doing it, and he keeps saying the same thing over and over again.
Like what? What does he say?
Well, they both loved me. They're like, "Hey, we have anxiety," and
yeah.
I mean, and I'm like, "What, the kind you gave me?" And he goes,
Wait, that's not anxiety. That's Coors Light.
They ended up being really nice guys. I don't know if they just never been to comedy shows or they're
Outside of their homes ever?
and he's like, "Yeah, it's so relatable, the anxiety thing," and he's hugging me. And then Kelly's standing to my left, and he's like, "Are you on Instagram?" So I'm like, "Oh, Kelly's right there. I'm just gonna make her laugh through this guy." So he's like, "You on Instagram?" I'm like, "I got everything on Instagram except Reels." And Kelly starts laughing. She's like, "Oh my God, he doesn't have Reels," because I bring it up on the pod all the time. And then I'm doing these things, and I'm watching Kelly laugh as I'm dealing with this guy. And the guy hugs me, his beard's on my face. And then the other guy shows up, the one that interrupted the most. He comes over, and I see Kelly and Eamon bail. They go to the stair.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
I don't blame him at all. And I'm talking to them. Just constant loop of bear hugs and bro hugs, and "You were great." And I was like stuck in this half pike.
It's pretty nice though.
It was very nice.
Better than a loop of people saying your prostate's big.
I saw them writing on some introvert Instagram post. But anyway, then I go downstairs, catch up with Kelly and Eamon. They're possibly coming to New York in the holiday season.
Oh, awesome.
So hopefully we'll get to see them.
Maybe there's more candle fairs.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get some more candles from them, and caught up with them. And then I'm like, this is great, catching up with them. And then the anxiety of them, like, oh, they're great people. They support our show. They love our show, but I don't want them to get sick of me talking to them.
Yeah, we've
had this before.
This thought runs in my head before, yeah.
And because I love them, they're great, but I don't want to be a burden to them. Right when I have that thought, Kelly goes, "Hey, great seeing you. It was a lot of fun. We gotta get going." And I was like, "Oh my God, we hit it at the same time."
That's awesome.
We hit it at the same time.
That's awesome.
I was
That's
like,
great.
No wonder we hit it off with our listeners. It's the same inner monologues.
Well, I know you, and you probably were like, emotion on your sleeve. Like you probably started doing some weird signal cues that you're not even aware of.
I was packing a suitcase in front of them.
You had your watch like up to your eyeballs.
Yes.
Like for the last minute of talking to them, you slowly looked at your watch and then moved it slowly toward your face. You started putting like GPS into your phone, like how to get back to your hotel.
Well, I didn't want to stop talking to them, but I didn't want to be a problem. That was my concern, not leaving.
Well, they're very respectful.
Yeah, they're
cool
great people.
Yeah.
And I know I need to be more subtle, like someone that checks the curtain behind them 13 times. We got to teach a subtlety masterclass.
Well, I got 2 angles, so I was going to cut to you when I checked the curtain. But when the other angle is you saying you're checking the curtain, it kind of falls apart there.
Oh man. So yeah, it was great seeing them. They love the pod. They said our last episode was really fun. They feel like we've gotten back into our groove because we were having a hard time with tech and all our stuff. So they're saying
that's good.
Yeah. So we're it was great seeing them. Thanks for coming out, Kelly and Eamon.
Thanks for coming out, Kelly. Thanks for listening, and Eamon as well. Even though I think I think just
Amy
Kelly
wasn't there.
I think just Kelly plays it for Eamon while he's driving or something.
Hey, he was aware of who I was still.
Okay, so we got some listener tweets here. I just want to get into before we wrap up, everybody. So every week we tweet what's been making you anxious. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But feel free to write to us if we do, and if we don't as well. So there was like this old one we got right after we recorded the last episode. I want to talk about because it seemed like a big deal, and this guy was very emotional. You know what? Actually, we'll save that for last. We'll do some silly ones first.
Sure.
First, person said, I'm visiting NYC soon and worried that I'll pick the wrong restaurant menu items and I'll miss out on something amazing. Now that I can relate to. You ever... I mean, this happened... I was out with Maddie like 2 nights ago, and I got something I didn't like at all. And
she out-ordered you?
She out-ordered me, and the whole meal, I'm like, gosh. Couldn't even enjoy whatever I ordered.
Yeah, you're just staring at her meal.
Yeah. There's this great sketch on Netflix. It's a sketch show called I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, man, that's one of my favorite sketches from the new season.
Where
they're
they're out with the professor, and the professor keeps saying, I should order that burger. And then
give me that.
Then
I'm just joking.
And then he's like, the guy's like, it feels weird. He's like, would you like a bite, professor? He's like, well, okay. And then he eats the whole thing.
I'm gonna eat the whole thing.
And then says, you're gonna tell people about this, aren't you? So I want a video of you saying that you want to kill the president. The black. Anyways,
watch the new season of I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, we just butchered that whole thing and revealed the end. But
same episode, there's a hat court case sketch. Best sketch I've seen in a long time.
Or they're reading the transcript about the guy's hat while he's in the jury.
Oh my God. What the hell?
And they say he had dice in his pocket, so he takes it out of his
pocket. Stop fucking with him.
He takes out his pocket.
Don't tell the ending of this one.
Oh my God! All of them. I don't usually like sketch shows,
yeah.
And Maddie put it on. We had nothing else to watch, and I binged the whole thing. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And everyone ends like it doesn't beat the premise to death, and it's amazing that they have all these sets, all these actors, all these extras for like a 1.5-minute joke. It feels like when in SNL, it's like a crap stage, and it's fake tables, and there's only like the actors who are on the show, and the sketch will last for like 10 minutes, and you're like, I get it, just end it. And then this one, I don't want to poop on the show. Who knows? We might be working there if they see the funny introvert. But if if SNL checks out this podcast, I kind of shot myself in the face. But
it happened with Caitlin's house.
I kind of will anyone we talk about to listen. So this guy Mark Cam -3, what do you say for this guy?
I like to. I'm getting better at reading reviews, and I'm getting better at asking people that work there. Caitlin used to be in. She's lived here for almost 13 years and worked in the food industry and the service industry. And I was like, how can you tell when a server really likes a thing, and a server will usually push the thing they like, and you can tell the difference. I don't remember exactly, but it's clear what they really like and what they're like. We have this, So I usually go with something that the server that lives in New York has probably eaten all their food likes.
This is my tip. Get the first thing that's listed on the menu. On the entrees, that's usually the best thing.
Really?
The specials, take it or leave it. That's old fish.
Oh, specials are never special.
Take them away unless it's some kind of crazy catch of the day, which I'm a big fan of.
Really?
Because then that's on the special because you just caught it.
Have you had the half pike?
Yeah, it made my stomach hurt.
Skin to your knee.
So like there's like something on the menu that's like zoomed in or bigger font. That's usually like the best thing, I feel like. Don't go something crazy. Don't get the lobster at the diner. Get the omelet.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my example. Because sometimes you get the diner and you flip through, and then at the end there's like lobster, and you're like,
yeah,
oh cool. But that's all the way at the end,
right?
Because they don't want you to order it. I don't know why I don't know what I'm saying, but get the biggest thing on the menu. Get something you like, and then you'll I don't know. I wouldn't experiment with anything either. Like if you never ordered escargot, I wouldn't start at New York City in a fancy restaurant.
Right.
But that could be fun, I guess.
But if you're going to a fancy place, I would ask servers, because the menus, I don't think they really. You're talking about a diner menu.
That's just the example, yeah. Maddie and I also went to the seafood place that was like kind of fancy, and I don't recommend going anywhere that has like cloth napkins, because the portions there are so small. And I read that more expensive restaurants are less. It's tacky to have a lot of food at a fancy restaurant. At fancy restaurants, these people who are wealthy go just to have a small portion with like designs on it, and the thing like is shaped in a pyramid.
Yeah,
and has like the garnishes in a way that look like people climbing up the pyramid. Or
right.
Something. It's all about the presentation at a fancier restaurant. So sometimes the fancier restaurant isn't always the best unless you like looking at good food and then eating it. I'd go mid-tier because the food is good and the portions are good, and that's all I care about are big portions.
Yeah, and I trust New York reviews. Like if you can find New York reviews, like if you know it's like a New York site and not tourist.
And I would go on Instagram and not look at their Instagram. I would look at the tags.
Yes.
The tags of the Instagram are the real photos.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yes. That I didn't know how to. That's New Yorkers being like this, or people that visited that like this stuff.
Because when we checked out resorts when we were going to Aruba, we would look at the resort's Instagram, and then we'd look at the tags of the people who were actually there, and it was just like night and day.
Right.
Just like the resort Instagram has like flamingos gracefully flying, and then the tags are like this overweight guy like sleeping on a rock, so
being pecked
out by a pigeon,
flamingos.
By a pink pigeon who's painted. Pigeon wearing stilts.
Amazing.
A pigeon wearing a mask of a
he's got a sock for the beak.
Sock for the beak. Oh my God. So I would do that. Okay, so we got a couple more here. Somebody said, Drunken Progressive said, I forgot to take my pills and I already started drinking. I think he came to your show. I think he was there.
Yeah, well, we know what happens.
Yeah, spoiler alert. So shout out to Jason W. Shaver, who almost sounds like half of my last name. And then we got Kevin Elliott from Kevin E. Elliott, who wrote not being able to fall asleep and being bored. compound topic here.
Hmm.
Well, if you're bored, listen to the podcast and check out the YouTube.
Yeah, and then you'll fall asleep.
And then you'll fall asleep. If you're actually having trouble falling asleep, we did talk about it on the when we had Ashley Book Roberts, because I also have trouble. I had trouble falling asleep. I'm a little better now. Exercise, supplements of valerian root, magnesium, melatonin, and what was the other one?
Magnesium.
Yeah, I said that, I thought.
Oh, I heard melatonin.
Melatonin,
Valerian
root, magnesium, exercise.
Yeah.
And if you have trouble sleeping after doing all that, then listen to a boring thing on YouTube, and that'll put you right to sleep. Not our podcast, but like...
I know, I was joking. I think our podcast is very fun.
I recommended to my dad this Australian guy who talks about these obscure World War II battles that happened in Australia.
Wow, I'm falling asleep already.
So boring. I can't remember the guy's name, but... Look at Battle of Milne Ridge. I think that's the one I fall asleep to. And I'm like 2 minutes in. I've been listening to this for like a month.
Hello.
The Australians. So okay, we got one more before we get to the serious one. No. Okay, so that's all three of them. Here we go. This guy wrote. Topic: phone calls are extreme. This one's from Benjamin Carpenter. First time writing in. Smiley Ace, 76.
Oh.
He wrote in actually when we did Joe List, and Joe List made fun of him and kept saying, "Sorry, Smiley." So Smiley Ace said, phone calls are extremely anxiety-inducing for me. The other day I had to do something with a guy I had known like from a distance but never really talked too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get his number from a mutual friend and just text him telling him that we had this thing together. And I had to think about what to say for 2 days until I could finally tell him. Then we had to call each other, which is even worse. So for 2 parts, had to get his number from a mutual friend. I had to text him telling him that we had this thing together. He had to say what he... Okay, yeah. I've been in a situation, too, where you're like, you don't know this person that well, but you have to text them, so... You write out your text and you edit it. You're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Now the message is too long. Let me take it out. Okay, there's too many exclamation points. Let me put one exclamation point, take out the other one. I have also agonized over texting somebody I don't know. And then you want to say, this is me. This is Andrew. But then you're like, oh, does he know Andrew? So then you say, this is Andrew Chavone. And then you're like, does he even know who I am? So then you say, this is Andrew Chavone from the mall that we met and you told me to text you.
Right.
Then you're like, all right, maybe that's too much. So then you say, this is Andrew Chavone from the mall.
I had that recently. I left my notebook at a Comic Club green room, and our friend Ben Katzner picked it up, but he wasn't going to be at his apartment. And he's like, my girlfriend will be home. Here's her number.
Oh, God.
And
just tell her.
And I texted her. I'm like, hey, this is Steven Rogers, friend of your boyfriend, Ben Katzner. You have my comedy notebook.
Put in all the info.
When can I come to your house?
And then what'd she say?
She was very nice. She was great. She was like, hey, Steven, no problem. Happy to give it to you. Here's when I'm free. But, like, so once someone, like, maybe she knew I had anxiety, but once someone's like, hey, I get it. We don't know each other. Let me do my half of the conversation. It certainly helps.
And Smiley, the thing about switching to phone calls,
that's, yeah.
I feel like that's a little nerving, but once you do it, it's way better than agonizing over the wording of a text.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, get everything out in a conversation, and even though sometimes when I cold call somebody, I have to say, hi, how are you? This is Andrew Chavone. We met at the mall. Blah, 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 blah. They're like, huh?
Why do you keep bringing up the mall?
I don't know. Skate park.
Hey, we met at the Tony Hawk tour. Well, Smiley, I hope the phone call goes all right. Unfortunately, it's like practice. The more you do the phone calls, the better it gets.
Yeah, and you could open the phone call with, hey, I haven't talked to somebody on the phone in a while.
So, sorry.
Been busy at my job at Target chat.
Or just tell them that you went through your neighbor's house.
Anyway, 1 and 2 business days.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Shout out to Kelly and Eamon one more time. Thank you for coming this weekend. Thank you, everybody, for checking out. Check out the YouTube. The videos are getting a lot of... Kelly and Eamon said they love the videos.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah, check us out on YouTube. Patreon, $5 a month. You get 4 bonus episodes a month.
We just did 2 so far. We got 2 more to do. And the second one we did, we previewed that Rush sketch I've been teasing.
Yes, and Matt Move Mountain said that should be your profile picture.
Yeah, the picture of
so
me
funny.
dressed up as Geddy Lee.
Yeah. Great impression, by the way.
And also, my dad called me and he said, "Oh, I checked out this old podcast episode you did." And I'm like, "What? You just put in my name and put podcast?" And he said, "Yeah, I need content." And I said, "Join the Patreon, Dad." So he did.
Oh my God!
So
that's why I got a notification that said Andrew Chavone joined the Patreon.
Yeah.
I was like, why would he join our own Patreon?
So now both of our parents are on there.
Pretty great.
Pretty great. We're doing it. Got our parents' approval.
That we had that from the beginning.
I know. Sure. Dad, don't call me. I know you approve of me. Or you can call me, but just don't call me about that.
That's great. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the new subscribers, and check out the Patreon. And anything else?
Leave us a review, because we got a couple in a row, and now we just need a little more, and it boosts us in the algorithm. Right now, when you search Panic, I think if you put in Panic, we're like the 12th result. So we need more. I want to be like, when you put in Panic, we're the first ones that come up on iTunes. So we need some reviews. Just write, "Love these guys." Lol.
There was a great one. Came for the Regan, stayed for the infectious laughter.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful one.
I know. And our good friend Emily Bernard, who just emailed me, left a really nice one too.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you, everybody, and see you next time, and stay tuned for the outro.